Hello, John.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm John. Usually my day job is a graphic designer.
Okay.
But I also do, I direct movies and I write for movies, aspiring at least. And mainly with the short movies, I did for virtual production. We tried, so for the virtual production part of this, where I got into it, it was for short films. So I directed those and I wrote those.
So what kind of motion graphic, like what program do you use for the motion
Mainly
graphic?
After Effects.
Mainly After Effects.
But I'm trying Unreal now as well.
Yeah.
Because they have the new
How's your
motion
experience
graphics.
with that?
It's cool. It's because the way we use it for virtual production as well, and try that as well, and the way you can just have things just be created like in real time, and it's different because it's a 3D program mainly.
It's a different
Well, After
mindset.
Effects is it's also 3D,
2D,
but
it's like
2D,
like
2.5D, you know.
Yeah.
And this gives you the opportunity to do some motion graphics in a way that I wouldn't think it was possible without like being a 3D artist.
Yeah.
So it makes it very accessible. It's cool. Yeah, it's nice.
And then now you're kind of bringing it into filmmaking as well.
Yeah. So when we started out at the company I work at, started out trying some stuff. Well, not me, but someone else, Igor. And I was interested in that as well because I love new technology. I love new stuff, and new kind of groundbreaking stuff in film because we haven't had that apart from moving to digital in a long time. So I think virtual production is very exciting. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I have to get into that because it's
around that time. That's when you guys did the 24-hour film competition.
48 hour, yeah.
28.
48.
Okay.
So it's
48.
Yeah, 48 hours.
20 hours would be pretty hard, but
it's
48
crazy.
hour.
No, it's 48 hours. So it's a competition. Yeah. And
Let's get into that. So the 48 hours, what did you have to do? Because it's not like you can once you start like creating the scene, right? There's still some preparation that you need to do so that you could actually finish on time.
Yeah. So you can do there's like, because we're doing virtual production. A lot of it is different than you're used to, but what you can have like before you know what you have to do, because you have to the Friday it starts, and then you get like the Friday
ends
evening
on a Sunday,
and it ends on a Sunday, and then you get like a few things you have to do, so a genre, a prop, a character, a line.
They assign you that?
They assign you.
Okay, so they assign you.
That's things you don't know in advance.
And what are the other genres there?
The thing was, we were doing it for Imagine Film Festival, so it's a film festival for fantasy, horror, sci-fi, stuff like that. So we kind of already knew like
the general direction.
A general direction. But apart from those things, like you can prepare a location, your actors, your crew. That's the things you need to prepare.
That'd be really weird if Darth and then you call like.
Yeah,
hey,
then you can't.
Are you available, available now? No.
You have to be prepared in some way. Yeah. So
you have to have some preparation.
Yeah. That's the prep you have. And
what about a script? Did you already have like a kind of like a thumb theme?
We had ideas. So
like
we had
man walking into.
Officially you can't start writing beforehand because it's unfair.
Yeah.
You have to make a movie in 48 hours. That's the competition. That's the challenge you have.
Wait, is it a virtual production competition?
No.
Or no.
No. So we were the only ones who did that, which I think that was kind of crazy.
You guys just like the challenge. It's like 48 hours is already hard enough.
Yeah.
And then you guys like, no.
No, we're gonna do it with virtual production. Well, that's the main thing, right? Is it more of a challenge or is it less of a challenge? Because it's like it works both ways.
Because it has more advantage. It has advantages as well. Yeah.
It does. It does have advantages in a way, like especially if you have just one day to shoot something, you have to have different locations because that's
how many locations did you have?
We ended up having like one big location. So it was the one we did there was a space station, not space shuttle, space station. So it was somewhere on an indeterminate planet.
Yeah, you're saying there was multiple locations. I mean, well, multiple rooms of the area of the spaceship, right?
Yeah, so we had a space station, but we had like very different areas. So we had like a diner, we had like a greenery, we had the entrance, stuff like that. And then there was the spaceship where one of the characters arrived in. So we had also had an exterior shot of the space station. So kind of in the space we had kind of all around different locations, but still the same space.
Different perspectives.
Yeah,
so it's like the flip around and other stuff.
Yeah, and then the main thing is usually when you do that, when you have different these kind of different locations, so exterior, interior, you have a greenery, you have a diner, you'd have to move your whole crew, and you'd have to either move the crew, the whole scene in a building, or you have to move everything to another building, another location.
Or the prop had to be like 360 almost, and then that way.
Yeah, so you have to account for that, and with us, it was like, well, when we change the scene, you change the background.
You just flip the background.
Yeah, it flip the background, stuff like that.
Change the lighting.
Yeah, so in a way, and that made it easier. The harder part is, well, it's also for us to try out a bit, to see what we can do in a day with virtual production. Just to flip the image, like knowing like we had a shot of someone and
So you're talking about like a dialogue
scene. A dialogue
I
scene.
would be shooting, and then you would be shooting over the shoulder.
Yeah, that's, I think it's quicker when you do it, when you just have a location, I think.
Okay.
Because it's like the whole thing, the whole turning around, it was, I think we expected it to be a bit quicker. But it takes a while.
But it's probably also disorienting for the actor too, right?
Yeah, so you have to account for so much things, and also I think we're kind of inexperienced, so that's maybe we're like in the way it's supposed to work, and we're kind of getting to know stuff for us as well as for the actors. So that way it was.
It's your first time shooting virtual production?
Yeah. So it was a learning experience for everybody. Okay. It was cool though.
What about next time you want to shoot virtual production?
Oh yeah. Oh, we did another one.
Oh, okay. So you just went straight into another one.
Oh yeah. Well, we said
actors or no?
Same actors. Yeah.
I don't think I saw that one. I saw the spaceship one.
Yeah. So we did another short film, and it was with the car scene mainly.
Oh, okay.
So we want to try out what does virtual production mean for a car shoot. So having not a car shoot like for a commercial, but having two people in a car, and how does it differ from a usual?
Yeah, can you talk about? I mean, have you shot outside? You like car scenes? Like
we did that before, and like on the trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So well, that's quite a hassle.
Okay.
To have a car on a trailer with like all the equipment and everything, and with the wind, with the car moving, with having to stop everywhere.
And it's really dangerous.
And it's it can be. Yeah. So
because everyone's on their phone, right? So
exactly.
They would just crash right
so
into.
There's some danger involved as well. While when you have just the virtual production setup, you're stationary. You can change the scenery. You can
change the lighting.
It was very nice.
But how did you? There's still some motion you need.
Oh yeah, we had some.
Did you have the guy who just kind of always shaking the
car?
Well,
a little bit, not that much. Because from my experience, because some people overdo that, and there's a. You can add it even in.
There were the virtual production supervisors who were saying. Basically, he had to always teach the actor to tone it down because they're always like this.
Yeah.
And it's like you already died.
It's the classic one, right? And they're like the Bond movies. They drive like this. Yeah.
When it's supposed to be like a normal conversation. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're off the cliff.
No, it's good. We had experienced actors who really understood it and already they had experience with the virtual production.
Was it the same actors?
Yeah, the same actors.
So the second time around, was it easier for them or?
Yeah, I think they got used to it pretty quickly. The difference was that like the first time we were in the space station, they were walking around and they had like a bigger set. Now they were kind of stationary in the car, so it was a very different experience.
And down to earth.
Yeah, and it was.
Sorry, that was a terrible.
Yeah, no, no, I like it. I like it. Okay. It was more grounded.
Yeah.
Let's say grounded, and they enjoyed it, and they also like with the second one they wrote it with me. So they were.
They
had
were
fun with it.
involved.
Yeah, they were involved more, and they knew what they could do and what they couldn't do. So they were learning as well. And
Are you gonna do another one?
We should. We're talking about it. We should do the trilogy.
There so happened to be a film competition that I came across.
There was
called, the best horror shot. Do you think you'll be participating in that?
Well, I was thinking about it because like the main thing I've said from the beginning, from the first day we were talking about virtual production, I said I want to do a horror movie because I think that's. Why? First of all, I love horror movies. I think it's very underappreciated here in Holland. Oh yeah, we don't have a lot of horror.
But you got Nordic, all that culture.
No, yeah, but that's more of like.
That's more higher.
Yeah, that's we don't have like.
There's no. Is there like an Amsterdam ghost or Grim Reaper or?
There might be, but not like famous ones, and we don't have like famous
someone crawling out of a
creatures
canal
or something.
Or
yeah, no, we don't kind of have that.
Well, you can make it.
We should.
Yeah.
We should make that, and I
can't make it for the competition, but you can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think virtual production is perfect for that. For horror.
Yeah.
It should be very cool to create the atmosphere.
Well, the reason why we made this competition, originally the first one was there was no theme to it.
Okay.
But then this one, just because it's aligned with Halloween, we're like, oh cool, it's for Halloween.
That's good.
But we also I personally think horror is like the hardest genre, the hardest to pull off. As in all your skill set had to be top notch for filmmaking. Yep. You got the writing, you got the performance, you got the sound, you got the music, the reveal, all of that stuff. But like when you get it all together, then you have, it's kind of like comedy, then you have that guttural, scare.
Yep.
But if you don't have all those things working, like you're not going to get a scare.
No.
So that's why
it's going to fall flat. And it's the same with comedy. I would never do comedy. Because I'm not a comedy. I love comedy, but I'm like what you said, like the being perfect. I'm like, I'm not the guy for that. But with horror, I would like, I love the nitty-gritty of it, like making it perfect, making the, like having the timing right, having everything work out and pull your audience in the way, like
pull in the attention.
Like playing with them.
Misdirect.
Yep. And I'd love to do that, especially with virtual production. I think it's perfectly suited for it.
We have other judges, so I'm not judging it.
Are you not judging?
No, I can't. I can't judge it. So we have some really cool, Matt Workman from online. Matt Workman, he does a lot. Yeah, very good. Yeah, Matt Workman. We have Brandon B. We have Andy Axe, and then we even have from Indonesia called Dos Guava. All these studios that are been doing a lot of virtual production, but they all touched in horror, because Cinepack is another one that is the judge. They do horror all the time. So it's really exciting to have them as the judge, because they know how hard it is and how to use virtual production. But that's why we want them to judge. Yeah. And I really hope that I can see your submission.
I hope so as well. We'll see. And
I'm convincing everyone one by one.
Yeah, you're doing it well.
Just really hard on my job.
And if not this one, then we'll
No, this one.
I'll have to do it one day.
This one. So what are you looking forward to in virtual production, or did AI interest you, or can you speak a little bit about that, how that's changing your filmmaking mentality?
It does. Well, I think virtual production is still very exciting, and I think it's still in progressing, and we're getting to know it, and the technology is advancing as well. So keeping up with that and seeing what's new in that is pretty cool. AI is a big thing as well, especially in creating as a graphic designer as well.
Scene creation.
Using it to your advantage and using it well, because it's not, people think it's like a magic trick. It's like you do this and you create everything, like 3D, 2D, everything's. there's still a lot of like craft involved and creative
yeah.
decisions involved.
So you don't think your job threatened at
Oh
all?
no, I don't think so. I think a part of it would be easier. I think there's more room for being creative and fine tuning stuff, and even like well, when we talked about like Unreal, part of it also relies on AI as well, and there would be things I couldn't do without that technology.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to do that because it would require me to do a whole different like education. I'd have to have a new courses on it, and now I can just try and play with it.
I mean, I've heard people also say that, you know, AI wouldn't threaten anybody above entry level because the people above were basically using their entry level people as AI, right? Like just you create this and then they make it.
Yeah,
so,
I can
maybe
imagine
for
that.
like entry level like motion graphics or entry level 3D artists might have like a harder time breaking in, or they might just have to become a prompt master and just like use AI of some sort.
Because that's the thing as well, and I've noticed now that like studios or creators, other creators who want to show something like I want to have something like this, they use AI for that, which is nice, which is a nice thing. And I think what you're saying, like maybe the people who are starting out are like maybe feel threatened by it, but I think embrace it.
But you've seen the like those trailers they've been making using Sora and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally think they have no soul a little bit. So like, I mean, maybe that's something they can develop later on or something. So that I personally don't see a huge threat yet.
No.
But like maybe.
No, me neither. I think I think the way, also with virtual production, I think there's a lot to be gained of it as well. It makes the process. Make it part of your communication. If a client you can very easily show a couple of different looks or a couple of different locations where you used to have someone create that or before you could show it. Now you can you can prompt it. If you're a good prompter, you can show it easily, pretty easily. Yeah. I think especially in that regard, in the communicating with each other about what we want to see or what we want to show, what a client wants, what you want, I think there's a lot to be gained there.
There's a lot to be gained there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Have you done like a green screen shoot before versus like what you just did for this 48 hour? Could you have done the 48-hour thing on a green screen?
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing. I don't think green screen wouldn't have worked because the time constraints. Oh. It's just for the 48 hours. You don't have the time to clean everything up because you'll have some green spill, you have everything, stuff like that. I haven't shot for myself on green screen, but I have been part of green screen shoot. Involved. I also did some cleaning up for some green screens as well, so I know. So we couldn't have done it like that. Apart from it being like you have the control with the camera moving with the image. You would have to do that in post, I guess, normally, and it wouldn't have to fine tune that and to make it work well. Also for the actors as well as for everything technical.
I guess in your 48 hour, the first one that you did for Spaceship, if you were to do it in green screen, you would have to explain to the actors like where we are and like what and then so could you I guess elaborate a little bit on like how it's like is it objective or subjective more that when you're shooting with projectors?
Well, I think it's a nice for the actors. I think I talked to them about it as well. Like it's a nice thing to be able to see immediately where you are and what you're doing, as opposed to like you can even with a green screen you can show it on a different like screen, but they can imagine so much better where they are, what they're doing, the environment they're in. I think I don't see any like downsides to it. It's good for everyone. It's good for lighting. It's good for the actors. It's good for me to know what the final product would be.
What about for I guess your DP? Who would the DP?
Robert Berger was a DP.
Okay.
He had some experience
with it. What about
his
communication with you about using IC VFX?
Oh, it was good. He had some experience with it already,
Oh,
which was
he already
nice.
had
Yeah, so which is good. And I think we talked a lot before we started shooting. So which also we were already on the same level, I think, before we got to shoot there. And well, it was, apart from it being it was a lot to do in very little time. But apart from that, apart from that, I think it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. It was amazing. I was tired as hell, and we didn't get to shoot. We didn't get to shoot everything, which is how it goes. But the experience of working, especially with the DP like that, and
well, they always say like a film is never finished until you run out of time.
Oh yeah.
So I guess
it's exactly how this went. And but even if you missed out on some stuff, you still go home a happy guy. Well, couldn't have asked for much more.
As a director, and now that you're going to do the horror competition, for sure, 100%. Other than that, in terms of like the grand, like that one story you want to tell, what genre would that be?
Well, I think it's horror still, but I also love. I'd like to make a children's movie, a movie for children.
A
movie for kids, for children.
Yeah, I heard killers, which is very different.
Oh, that's very different. Children, kids.
For children.
Yeah, kids. Well,
like fantasy or like
Yeah, maybe fantasy, but also I've always like a story about a kid who wants to be a gamer, like professional gamer. And I've never imagined
like Ready Player One or like
something like that. Yeah. But I've never imagined being able to do that, because it's like it would be production-wise.
Yeah.
You can't even try that in Holland, because the cost would be insane. But I do think now, especially with the virtual production, it opens some doors. We could try it.
Maybe you could pull it off.
Yeah, and I think it
could be like a holodeck, right? And then you could be like, oh.
And especially with kids, I'd love to make like something that they also couldn't have imagined, being in there and seeing it and being amazed at what they see and what they're able to do. I think it could work very well. That would be a dream project.
I look forward to watching that. I look forward to when you set that up. You should definitely keep in touch with us, and
I'll let you know.
Learn about it.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your first impression with using VIVE Mars camera tracking?
Wow, my first impression. I thought it was pretty cool. I already knew about it. Like I've seen so many YouTube videos about it and be amazed already. I'm like, oh, holy shit! You see
on our YouTube channel, or other people like Andy Axe has good stuff. Cinepax has great stuff.
Cinepax as well, yeah. And
I love this stuff.
Film Riot. They did some stuff as well with the projector.
Yeah. And Cinecom.
Yeah. And so I already saw some stuff, but then seeing it like happening in real life, it was so cool.
And it actually worked.
I was part of it, like when they set it up. We had some issues and some stuff we needed to set up, like try and get the focus ready and stuff like that, calibration stuff.
Recentering.
But I'm a tech nerd as well, so I like that as well. Even if it's like if it's sometimes some troubleshooting, I'd love to be part of that and getting to know it. Why, how does that work, and how do you communicate with the computer, and getting that set up was also part of, I think,
your experience.
Yeah, my experience as well. Yeah, it was fun.
Would you use camera tracking for your next? Which is the horror shot.
Yeah.
But even after the horror shot, would you be using camera tracking as well?
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love to continue using that. And like I said, it's only growing. It's getting even better than.
And you're telling your friends about it. You're telling other filmmakers about it.
Yeah.
Are they also interested in trying?
Oh yeah, I showed them. I showed them the movie. I showed them the making ofs, and I never thought I'd be one of those people who could sell something pretty easily. But if you're excited about something,
because you're probably because you're not actually selling it.
You're not actually doing it.
But you're not an employee of VIVE Mars. So
no,
it's probably easier.
But in the end, it feels like you're like getting people excited about it, and because it is exciting, and if you can share that with others,
What's the climate like for like virtual production in Netherlands? Is it growing?
It's growing. Oh yeah, it's certainly growing. You can see it growing, especially in like, well, people get, I think a couple of years ago, people only knew about it because of The Mandalorian. And nowadays we know about it because we know
that you guys are doing.
We can do as well. And it's the idea that we're able to do it here with so much more limited budgets than in Hollywood.
Bring it more accessible.
Yeah, we can do that, and it's getting there. We've got some ways to go still.
But it's developing, right?
It is. Yeah.
Each case study, each project will kind of grow on top of each other.
And it's cool to be part of it. Yeah.